you? Как you там Scott now? Wow. I think we're streaming, eh? Yes, no? This is offline. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah, just getting fired up. Good. Me was in. Oh, just gonna check it. I'm still away from home, so I'm still in Edmonton tonight. I'm headed back tomorrow, so I'm just gonna get set up so I can see the comments and everything. So as we get fired up, if you're on the stream, let me know. Shoot me a comment, just so I know that the stream is working for you. We should be live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok tonight. Yeah, so drop a comment in the chat if you're tuned in. Yeah, I think we're doing okay. I just have to trust that this all works. It's a little bit of a warm-up, getting fired up every time here. Getting everything going. Okay, let's run with that. I think I can put my phone right there. I have to tune in on my phone to kind of keep an eye on TikTok, because the TikTok comments, like the chat, doesn't come through. Chat settings. What is this? No, I'm not worried about that. I think I have another setup I'm going to try next week. So I'll be home tomorrow night. I have a Windows computer at home, so I'm going to try the studio. I'll have to, there's some tinkering I need to do to get, it's such a pain in the butt. Streaming is a pain in the butt. Anyway, this is what it is. Don Sakakio, we're just getting fired up here. Keep an eye on my my audio levels and stuff at the same time here, so yeah, that seems fine. Okay. Miwasin. Yeah, if you're tuned in on various channels, let me know. Drop a comment in the chat so I know what's going on. Hey, Shania. Aha, Nistan Namiwayan. I'll say Namiwayan Tapwe. Yeah. Let me see if I can. I'm just gonna try and find the live on Facebook here. Oh, I'm just all over Facebook this week. I just came back from a conference, so I'm like seeing pictures of myself all over Facebook. Just getting distracted. Let me go find my page. Yeah, let's try that. And then I just want to double check that the stream is working on Facebook, which it looks like it is. If I click on that, and can I share this on my page somehow? Oh well, it is what it is. Save, follow, share. I'll try that and see what that does. Okay. Me Wasin, let's do some work. Let's do some work. Had a great week. Hey, Kiamaga, Shania, Denisigia. I know this one old guy, he would say, Mittaniguayask. Kind of like everything's just right, I guess. Everything's just right. Back from a flurry of conferences and projects and things. Just gonna pull up the YouTube channel for a second, just for anybody tuning into the stream. If you're not you haven't checked out some of the work we're doing with West Fine Day, definitely go check that out. We're going to be working on one of these stories tonight. I'll just keep that up here so people can find it. The one we're working on tonight is how Sweetgrass became chief. And can somebody drop a comment in and just make sure that my audio is coming through? Let me know that you can hear me. Okay, show screen brush. Ghost mode. So yeah, if you go to the YouTube channel, I just uploaded another story a couple days ago, but we're going to be working on that very first story, how Sweetgrass became chief. Aha, miyasin. Ay, hay. Yep. Miyasin anma. We're going to be working on this one story. You can go find it on YouTube. And I don't have downloads of this available yet. Like, I don't know if there's a setting in here somewhere where I could let you, like, download it, because you can totally, that would totally be fine if you wanted to download a copy of this and work on it yourself. These videos are here expressly for the purpose of language learning and sharing that knowledge. And I've only got a few videos from the very first visit so far. Like, if I look at this right now, there's like hour and a half, call that 2. So there might be 4 hours worth of videos here, but I think I have over 24 hours of video with Wes so far. And we've only done 3 sessions. We have one more session. We don't have a date on it yet. The winter session, we're just going to take a little bit of a break because the summer's been a flurry. And I'll get busy and I'll start posting more videos to the YouTube channel. So if you want updates on that, just make sure you're following somewhere and we'll keep posting those. But I've been listening to some of these other ones, like like this which one? This one here. Espiteta Gosu, and I was listening to today. Holy cow. Hey, I appreciate. Oh, thanks for that, Nova. Man, I had such a good time in Saskatoon. And yeah, that was amazing. Just totally run into all of these famous people. Hey, Nova was at the conference and killed it on the I guess the youth panel, I guess it was, did like half a comedy set, and but was also very inspiring. Every time you share your story or just like share your vision or speak your mind about language learning, I just think that's so powerful. So I definitely appreciated that. Yeah, right on. Yeah, so I've been watching this one, this Espite Tagosuan, and just like every time I watch these, I get more and more out of it, even though I don't understand all the words. Like, still just picking up more pieces. And this popped up in my TikTok. I was talking with somebody about this today. I'm gonna see if I can find the photo of this, because I was at a Tisqua. I was at a conference this spring for the Métis Nation of Alberta. That would have been in March or May. Let me see if I can find it. But they had this really kind of cool Lego picture thing. I'm just looking through my photos here. I'll pull it up in a second. It would help if I could remember when the conference was. March, April, May. Here we go. There it is right there. Tisqua. This one. Check this out. It was like a Lego picture. Actually, that's not even the completed one. Let me find the completed picture here. Tisqua. I have to pull my photos off to the side. It's probably like my kids will get my phone and take a picture of me with just like a towel on or something stupid coming out of the shower. Don't want to subject all of you to that. Tisqua. Is it completed there? Pretty close. There it is right there. Yeah, the completed picture. Just open that in a new tab. Check this out. It's pretty cool. And so the whole idea behind this was like, that's all Lego dots. And so when you showed up, it was blank, and you'd pick up a little card, and then you pick up a little Lego square, and you'd have to go pick the right colored dots and put the right dots in the right places or whatever. And then when you were done, it had like a quadrant. So then you would go and put that in the correct quadrant, right? So here, I'll show you the picture of the incompleted one. And why this is like relevant, I guess. Yeah, so here it is, incomplete. And you can see like the coordinates on here, like, come on, yeah. So you might have like M, I don't know, 9 or something, and so your little Lego spot would be right there, right? So you'd have to go get all these little dots and complete your little square. And so throughout the conference, people were like helping build out this whole picture, which was like pretty cool. But it made me think about this because learning a language is kind of like this. Like, as you're going through, this is the analogy I used today. I was talking to somebody. I was like, as you're going through and you're like picking up the pieces, you'll figure out a word, right? And it'll sort of like fill in that color. Like, there, just imagine like in your language, there's like a million colors, or like, I don't know, say 100,000 colors. And like, you're just filling in the different shades. So once you learn that word, it's like you get that particular shade, and you might even get the shades that are next to it, because you kind of understand what that word means now, or if different variations of that word, you'll start to understand them. And so you might start out where you're missing lots of your pieces. You're missing lots of the dots or the colors, right? But you're slowly like picking up the pieces and putting the bits in place. And then eventually you'll get to a place where, like, even though all of the pieces aren't there, you can still start to see the picture, hey? You can still start to see like what the bigger picture looks like. And that's the language learning process. It's just like we're filling in this picture. We're like reclaiming all of these pieces and putting them in place. So it might feel like an uphill thing right now, but you're in the right place, and the work that you're doing is important. And you might not see the full picture now, but you will. Like, it will come as the pieces start to fall into place. So yeah, all that to say, Akmemo. Man, and I watched them try to carry this. They carried this and put it on the stage when it was done, and like, I think it weighed 50 pounds or 40. Like, it was a ridiculous amount of Lego in this picture anyway. Yeah, so yeah, let's just fire up. Let's get into the transcribing here. I've been working on some of these other stories, not transcribing yet necessarily, but just listening, because I feel bad every time I get into this Sweetgrass story and I start working on it. I'm like, oh, I can't work on it when I'm not on the live. I'll get in trouble. I'll feel like I'm leaving people behind. Yeah. Are you part Cree or just like the language? So I'm Métis, Red River Métis. It's not an offensive question. You should ask people. Yeah, yeah, it's not offensive to ask. If people get offended by asking them, well, I don't know. But yeah, no, but this was my grandmother's first language was Cree. Yeah, so. And my wife too. We moved over the mountains so she could work in Sealchin, or in Kailuchin, I guess you'd call it, which is Okanagan Salish, or I think down south they call it Colville Salish. But her dad, we found out later on too, or through her dad's mom, they're from northern Alberta, and she was like, yeah, we just spoke Cree when I was a kid. So it's, yeah, this is something we just want to make sure that we pass on to our kids. It's good tea.
Gapi mitsa chigo gante maga hachio mana povegi pe ai wepia.
Somebody just let me know if that audio's coming through when I play that region.
Gapi mitsa chigo gante maga hachio mana povegi pe ai wepia.
Chisqua.
Gapi mitsa chigo gante maga hachio mana povegi pe ai wepia.
Kigape mitso chikoge. I think he's saying nitte mak, but I don't think that's it. Aha, miasin. There's a word in here, I'm not sure what that one is, but I'll just fill the rest of it out and we'll come back to that. That one there.
Gapi mitsa chigo gante maga hachio mana povegi pe ai wepia.
Egipe ai wepian. Which is like I went for a little while, I went for a rest, I guess. We should back up a little bit and play a little bit just to sort of get the context back into our heads. What was it that we were talking about? So I'll just go back maybe, we're at 37:20, so let's go back like a minute and a bit and we'll just listen and see if we can pick up the plot again. Start at 36 minutes and see where that takes us.
Ewa kaone mo kaman gia soa tahan maga. Hegi mamam tuneh taman ki spin kau tagohte anoma. Ne hiana. Kano tek skate magaisino tante gi tohte intan se gi takamksi.
So he's saying, asuatao, is it to put it back? Asuatao. Yeah, but he put it in his belt, I guess. But like, there was another word specifically he used for like putting something in your belt. But he's saying, I put my knife back, because the knife was covered in blood, right? So I put my knife back. Egwa, he says, if I get back there, if I arrive back there, nehiana ganote gasketamuaka isinu. Tantegi toti and tanse takamxian. When I get back to the camp, I guess I'll say, the Cree camp, they're gonna wanna know, the people are gonna wanna know, where did you go? What have you been up to? I just want to listen to that one more time.
Ne hiana. Kano tek skate magaisino tante gi tohte intan.
I was looking at that thinking, Ganote Gasketamuk Aisinu Wak, he said. Sometimes we miss little details, but that's fine. These two should match when it comes to plurality, because if it was just for it to be Aisinu, then it should have been like Ganote Gasketam. But he's talking about more than one person, right? So then, yeah. You know what I just realized? Just want to double check and see. Okay, yeah. Keep an eye on the comments from the other platforms here. Where did you go and what were you up to? So let's keep going.
Segi takamksi. Expi kispinexi hai spaige. Nika yaatse mostoa okoma. Kagi pe tohte anete. Mina taneki egi no sweano gogi chihta wak maga na moya oche atemagi na moya oche mskagi.
Yeah. What's interesting about this phrasing right here, Nehianak, back in the Cree camp, they're gonna want to know where you've been, what you're up to. At that time, if that happens, if that comes about, I guess you would say. It's like, that's one of those interesting things that's like, when you're trying to tell a story on your own, that could be one of those things where it's like, well, how would you say that, right? How would you say, at that time, I will, or if that happened, in this particular case, this egse, so we learned that word to mean like, Well, it means that's it, really. It's how I learned the eg se, but you can say that in so many contexts. But this ego se is referring back to this potential activity. This is like a pointer back to what he was just talking about. People asking him if that happens, that thing we just talked about, if that comes about. I spaige. And that ispaige puts it in like the context of like if, I guess. Gispin I ispaige if that happens. I will tell him the story of this.
Kaginto skamane te hoge.
Gagi pe totian, where I went, ite mina dane gipim nawaswean. That's an interesting word, because I've only ever known, so it would be nawasweo, to follow folks, I guess you'd say, to give chase. Yeah, because it's intransitive. Eh? That's interesting. Why I gave chase to these the scouts, I guess, ogiti tawak, the warriors, maybe you'd say. Maga moye ote atemagik, but I didn't find them. I didn't atemagik, like I didn't catch up to them, I guess you might say. Atemeo. Yeah, catch up to someone. Yeah. Gagin to miskamanete ogegaskite wasitak e wigitsek. I found where the Blackfeet were camped.
Kagintom skamane te hoge gaskte oyasetak e wigtsik.
Hey, tansi. Nipsi. Ja, mananto nia. Tapui miasen.
Ego hekta kagi utne magan hote moa.
Ego tagagi otenamak. Itenemak anihe otemuawa. That's just such an interesting construction, or like a particular way of saying things that I hadn't heard before we worked on this last time, which is like if I say I took the horses, gagi otenimagik, I'd say, but if I say I took those people's horses, like the other ones, right? Gagi otenimak. That's just cool. I'd never actually heard that particular usage before. Anihe otemuawa, their horses. Super cool.
Ego hekta kagi utne magan hote moa. Ego higo kegi mekska tehta mehkojan ki spin mostinta o.
I've been trying to find this word. I understand this word now. Migskatetam is to like be worried, I guess worried, or migskatetam. Miguskate. Did I spell wrong there? Miguskate. How come that's not showing up? Miguskatetam. I swear I found it the other day. Miguska. Miguskatetam. To be worried, I guess. Troubled, worried, perplexed. But that hikoyan, it stressed him out, I guess you'd say. He was worried, or it caused him to be worried that he might be captured. I never did find this word. I don't understand this construction. I know what it means because several people have told me what it means, but I don't understand the construction, the particular. And what I mean by that, like, let's just look for this. Captures. Let's see if we can find Mustintawa, it sounds like.
Ego higo kegi mekska tehta mehkojan ki spin mostinta o.
Mustintawa. So let me see if I can find I think we did this last time. Just bear with me here. I'm going to go through and see if I can find. Yeah, so to be seized, mustin. So even if we look at this word, which it's not, but it's close, musteneo, okay? If we actually go in and look at the word in all of the ways that you can say it, okay? So we'll just pretend this is the word for a minute. If you go in and look at the word and you understand all of the ways that you can say this, right? Depending on who you're talking about. So if I say, I captured you, I catch you, I seize you, I guess, then I can say it this way or I can say it this way, right? Gemustintin, emustintan. Or if I say, I captured that other person, nemustinau, emustinak, right? There's all of these different ways you can say this. This is one of the challenging parts about learning the language is understanding basically the grammar. It's effectively grammar. All of the different ways that you can say a word depending on who you're talking about. And then there's different types of words, and it gets challenging. Like it gets pretty complicated to not to say that it can't be done. Like I understand most of this now, but I studied it in depth for quite a while. And if this interests you, you can find this Cree Literacy Decoder Ring. If you do a Google search for this Cree Literacy Decoder Ring, bump that up a little bit. Cree Literacy Decoder Ring, and it should be that first item. It's called Summary Paradigm Tables, the Decoder Ring of Cree. You can get in there, and then this was created by Ben Godden. There's actually a Y dialect and a TH dialect chart, and this has all the paradigms in it, okay? So this entire chart here, for the most part, except for the past and future tense stuff. But basically all of this is on this. So you can print it off and put it in your pocket. Actually, that one is just this chart at the top. And I have a whole video on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, about how to get into this and start to understand what this means. We're not going to work on grammar tonight. I'm just pointing it out so that you know it's there. But this takes a while to sort of, and the way that you can get into this is just like, pick a couple, like start with like a VAI or something and be like nigamo. So if you looked at that, you could put it in here. Ninigamun, ginigamun, nigamo. Start to learn what these different things mean, the different ways you could say words, and just pick off a couple at a time until you've got them down, and then move on to the next bunch. You start to realize the patterns in the language. Even though there's a lot there, once you start to get it, it starts to make sense. Anyway, all that to say that there's all these different ways, right? There's all these different ways you can say a word, depending on who you're talking about. Like if that person captures you or seizes you, gemustenik, right? That ending changes. That means they captured you. But if you captured them, gemustenau. So that means you, and that means you captured them. But if you go back to the other one, gemustenik, that means you, but that means they captured you. Right? There's all these different ways you can say a word. So all that to say, I don't understand how this word fits into that system. This is a formulation I don't understand, and I don't know if it's a rare form they call the H preterite, or if I'm just mishearing it. Again, when you ask a fluent speaker, they're like, well, it means he didn't want to be captured. And I'm like, no, I get that. I understand what it means because I've been told what it means. What I don't understand is what's the word? What is the variation? And if we went in, let's just look around. Mustinda. See all the ones that are lit up here in yellow, just to see if there's one that jumps out that I'm just not aware of, maybe, or didn't And none of these seem to fit the bill. Because I sort of feel like this is the word. Mustineo. Let's listen to it again.
Ego higo ke gi mekska tehtami koyan ki spin mostintao.
Mustintao. That's what it sounds like. Mustintao. But I can't find it. I don't know. So we'll just leave that for now. Yeah, I just wanted to take a second and just chat about grammar. I'm gonna need a warm up on my tea in a minute. Okay, so let's. I'm not sure why I have this.
Miskotao.
And then he says,
Ki spine miskago yan.
if I'm found, I guess. So let's just keep going for a bit here.
Eksana nika gisi wagu. Ekseso squas nigi pe pimache hon. Na mointo haste se maug na mointo paknau ko sa mistahe.
It's like, it seems like that word can be used. Well, in this case, I guess it means traveling. But yeah, the context I usually hear that word in is like to make a living. But in this case, I think muito astesimawak. I didn't muito pagatinawak osamistehe.
Gape mitsa chigo ginte maga hachi o mana poge gi pe ai wepian. Gape mitsa chigo ginte maga hachi o mana poge gi pe ai.
Nitemak, he's saying. Gigape mitsotsik. So let me see if I understand what he's saying here. Chiskwa. Exercise squats and gipe pimatse hun. Muito stasimak. I didn't. Astasimeos to astasimeo. Is that like a rest? Sounds like astasimeo. No, astasim. Astasin is to take a rest, so I think it's related to that, even though I don't see it. Astasimawak. It sounds like I didn't rest them. Muito pagatinawak. I didn't leave them because osamistehe. Pagatinawak osamistehe. I didn't leave them very long to eat, is what he's saying. Muito pagatinawak osamistehe gigape mitsutsik. I didn't give them very long to eat, these my horses. Atsio manapago egi Iowapian, and we only Atsio is like for a bit. We would only rest a little bit, I think is what he's saying there. All right, let's keep going here.
Ego na muito kaski tan kan payan. Pugais ka ganaga tumkiano gape gi tahagi.
Something muito gaskitan.
Ego na muito kaski tan kan payan. Pugais ka ganaga tumkiano gape gi tahagi.
He wasn't able to sleep. He didn't sleep, basically.
Ego na muito kaski tan.
It's interesting. Ninto. It's an interesting use of that nto preverb. Let's just look that up for a second. Because I understand. Oh, engaged in. So I understand that as like go and. This is the way I learned that word. Go and. Go to, go and. But engaged in, that's interesting. There's always like another way you can use a word sometimes. Or like there'll be some words where there's like 8 ways you can use this word. But in this case, engaged in. The way I interpret that is like I didn't really bother with sleep.
Ego na muito kaski tan kan payan. Pugais ka ganaga tumkiano gape gi tahagi.
What's that last little bit?
Pugais ka ganaga tumkiano gape gi tahagi. Pugais ka ganaga tumkiano gape gi tahagi.
I had to look after the horses. Giga naga Nagato, nagato.
Pagais ka ganagato ke ano gape giyo tahag. Pagais ka ganagato ke ano gape giyo tahag.
I'm just going to leave that for a second. Gape. Kiwe. Tahagik. To bring them home. Nagato. Like the word nagato, like to watch over, I guess, or care for, observe, pay attention to, but I can't quite make out the exact word.
Pagais ka ganagato ke ano gape giyo tahag. Pagais ka ganagato ke ano gape giyo tahag.
Nagato gean, I think, is what he's saying. Nagato gean. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, and so there's like a lot of, even though these are all really related, but there's like a bunch of different sort of definitions here, like take notice, observe, notice people, pay attention to people, care for people, look after people, attend to people, listen attentively, be courteous or respectful. Be courteous or respectful. Yeah. Nagatohkean, I think is what he's saying. That's long, eh? Let's just listen to that whole thing. Gaganipayan, that's a long, eh? Long O. Nagatohkean, Nagatohkean, Nagatohke. Naga. There we go. All right, I just want to listen to that whole thing one more time. It's interesting because just like we went back and like reviewed 1 minute of the transcription there, and then like pick up little pieces you missed, which can be handy sometimes. Yeah, Morgan says he has to go and take care of them because he brought them home. Ah, oh yeah, the ones that I brought back. Just
Ego na mo into katskitan kan payan. Pagais ka ganagato ke ano gape giyo tahag.
The way I interpret that is because he's telling the story is, to me in this context, it means I wasn't able to sleep. He said I so we just traveled hard, I guess. So squats is like, how would you even define that? Just? Yeah, just. Regardless, no matter the consequences, directly, immediately, straight away, without further ado, without delay. It's like I really appreciate sitting with Wes too, because his English interpretations are so articulate. He's just so articulate. So mointo aste samawak, mointo pagatinawak o samistehe kagape mitsotsikogi nite makatsiomana pagoegi iwepian. We only took short rests. I didn't leave them very long to eat. I didn't let them rest, I guess. Astasin is more like is it like a rest where you lay down? Whereas aiwepu is more like a break. Astasin. Lie down to rest, yeah. So basically didn't let them stop. Egwan mointo kaskitan giga nipayan. Pagoayis giga nagato kayan kape kiweta hagik.
Are you on live now?
Yep. So I wasn't, the way I understand that is I wasn't able to sleep either because I had to keep an eye on these ones that I brought home, I guess.
Exesan.
Excesa. Usually says
Exesan.
an, exesan. That's something that happens. The reason that sounds like that is because there's a process that happens with those sounds between words like that. Like sometimes when he says, there's a word for it too. He doesn't usually say, like when he says this phrase, anna is squirrel, it sounds like anis squirrel. And it's a very specific, it's a very specific sound change process. I think the word, I don't know if this is what they call sandy or something, but like just where those vowels collapse. And it's super common in the language. You see it in the books sometimes, in like some of those older books that were written. Hear this more so in like older fluent speakers when those two vowels on words or within a word phrase will collapse into a long vowel. And so that's exactly what's happening here. Egse-san. Yes, egse-isa-anna. And he's actually, it sounds like this because they're collapsing together, those two sounds. Hey, egse-san. Oh, super excited. I got some of my muskeg tea when I was in Saskatoon too. I can't find it out where we live. But I would have had to go to my truck to get it, so I left it there. Let's throw this next chunk in here too.
Tapoi gagi pe tago tahato ta kagi nakskago tohe.
Did you say gagipe?
Tapoi gagi pe tago tahato ta kagi nakskago tohe.
Oge.
Tapoi gagi pe tago tahato ta kagi nakskago tohe.
Nugskahat? Nugskahil? Can you say that? Nugiska. No, it must be something. I must be mishearing that.
Tapoi gagi pe tago tahato ta kagi nakskago tohe.
Nugskagut. Ah, Nugiskoil is the word. Nugskagut. Bim. Nugiskagut. When they greeted them? Well, let me think about this for a second. I think there's an ohe at the end.
Tapoi gagi pe tago tahato ta kagi nakskago tohe.
Yeah. Yeah, and so in this context, egse-san tapoi gagi pe tago tahat. Ota. Tiskwa. Let me think. Tago tahat ota. Gagi pim nugska gutohe. This is the challenging part of language learning, because this is, again, I'm back in that place where I'm like, I know all those words. Tago taheo tiskwa. To arrive, but to arrive with them, yeah. So, okay, so he's now not, so he's finished telling, so Sweetgrass is finished telling the story, and now Wes is talking about Sweetgrass, and that's why that's changed. It took my brain a minute to catch up. This is the challenging part about language learning from my perspective, is a minute ago we were using words like gape giwetahagik, I brought them, right? Nagato gean, I had to keep an eye on them or whatever, and now we've switched to that one brought them back and they met them, I guess. The ones that Otaga, so here they met him when he arrived with these horses, I guess. Mananto, Kimaga. Yeah, Mia Sini, Tago Sinian, Tapwe. All right, so I think what he's saying here is that way. So he brought those horses, and they were there, and I guess the people were there to greet him. There's probably more to this sentence, so let's keep going here. Said to stop for a minute and think about who he was talking about.
On toahtawa kagi pegiwe tsahamago to hotem.
The scouts. Untawahtawa. That's a short A, I think. Yeah.
On toahtawa kagi pegiwe tsahamago to hotem.
Gagipe. It is hamagot. See, because an interesting, a totally different construction happens in Niue, and like it would be the same in TH and Y, or TH and N dialect as well, and probably the other dialects. And I'm assuming it's very similar, probably even in like Anishinaabemoan too, right? But you've got this thing where, because the word determines who's being talked about or who's doing what to who, in a very short period of time, that can change a lot very quickly, and that can be really hard to understand. That can be really hard to follow those changes when they, especially when they change so quickly. Yeah. In my, like, getting those, especially when a speaker gets fairly, I want to say like animated, I'll say, or like fairly into the story and starts talking very quickly, a lot can be said in a very short time in the language, and a lot of people can be like the positions can change as far as like who's being talked about. And that's one of the parts that's really challenging about learning this language, is that can change so much and so quickly. It can be challenging. All right, we're just about 38 words in. Let's finish this one up again.
On toahtawa kagi pegiwe tsahamago to hotem.
Giwe te sahamagot, giwe te sahamagot. It is saham, chisqua, to drive them. Send them or drive them. Chisqua.
On toahtawa kagi pegiwe tsahamago to hotem.
There's that. Oh, short O. There's that vowel blend again. Oh, he. Come on. Why isn't that working now? You'll just have to pretend that I'm using a long O there. It won't let me for some reason. Dema. Weird. Let's refresh the page and see if that fixes it. There we go. But it sounds like this. Oh, oh, dema. Because again, those sounds are kind of blending together into a long vowel. Super common. But when they print it that way, when you get a book and it's missing, because the way they'll do it in the book is they'll, in some of those books, they'll leave that vowel out, so then that's what you'll see. This will just be missing the final vowel, and same as this one, they'll do that. And then it's a little bit confusing if you don't know what's happening. It's like, oh, why is it missing letters, right?
On toahtawa kagi pegiwe tsahamago to hotem.
Yeah, so if we back up a second, Hegsesa natapwe kagi pe tagotahato o tagapm nagskagotohe on tuatawa. So those scouts were there to greet him when he arrived, I guess. Oh lol, Colin. I need a ride. My Uber is taking too long. Well, I hope you're in Edmonton. Yeah. Ga gipe giwait some giwait sahama guto giote. When those horses were brought here, those scouts were there to greet them, I guess. Nugskagut. What are other ways you could describe that word? Nugskuo. Meet, encounter, run contrary to someone and in direction. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Hi, thanks, Derek. Yeah. Thanks for stopping in. Gawi mio tips gawi mio tipskansin. Gawi mio tipskansin ao.
Ego he omega he ni mihto. Ego he omega he ni mihto.
And so they had a dance, I guess. We'll grab a little bit more here.
Ega gisimok. Ena nasko mohkawa.
Gagisimo. So they had a dance and prayer and they were grateful for this one, I guess.
Ega ko I hunt kau e pe waina mi o tago te to mo ko tawane. Ega ko I hunt kau e pe waina mi o tago te to mo ko tawane.
Is that a long? I think it is.
Ega ko I hunt kau e pe waina mi o tago te to mo ko tawane. Ega ko I hunt kau e pe waina mi o tago te to mo ko tawane.
Mi o tago te ma. And what's that last word in there? It's one or two words right at the end.
E pe waina mi o tago te to mo ko tawane.
At their home fire. At their camp. Yeah. Oh, mea sin bro, my tago teo pisk, Neil, on the Facebook. I think that why you know, either it's not in there, or maybe it's a long no. Why you know? No, why you know? Oh, I see. They don't have it listed as a preverb. That's the issue there. Hey, mananto, kimaga, and so on. Oh yeah, let's listen to that whole thing again one more time.
Ega ko I hunt kau e pe waina mi o tago te to mo ko tawane.
Yeah, so that's just a spell checker issue flag. Work break. Are you teaching class tonight, Neil? Or did you get back to your production there? Hey, Malcolm says, Tansikia. Ah, Monanto, Nia. Kimaga. Run up, get clouded. Boah. Yeah, Mia Gutski Skunsen Ote. Bimtaskosi. Bimtaskosi. Holy. This Neil. Red Crow guys could be more famous. No, we are filming a documentary, though. Mia Sin. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Doesn't want to do a TikTok, but he's going to be all over TV. I'll just be teasing you forever about that. Yeah. Yeah. So this one with no name that why no to like return, I guess, or came back safely to their home fire, I guess. How did you put that deal? The one with no name, he made it home safe to his home fire, yeah. Oh yeah, his home fire, Okotawani. Yeah, that makes sense. Get autographs now while they're free. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, get a bunch and I could sell them later for like $20.
Ego homa gagi wiko ke gagi pihtoa.
They had a feast. We go gig. Is that a long O? Must be a. No, I spelled that right. We go gagi. We go gig. What? Spelled that right. Okay, what? Oh. Huh. It's because... No, it's right there. Yeah, that should totally work. Weird. Okay. That's just, what was the last word there? Oh, refresh. Yeah. If you're using transcribe and you ever get that red error at the top, this is something we know what it's doing. We know why that happens. Just refresh. It's super annoying if you're on like a little bit of a slow connection. I know it's a pain in the butt, but we'll have it fixed soon.
Ego homa gagi wiko ke gagi pihtoa.
So they had a feast and they smoked, I guess you would say. Neither of those are getting picked up properly, which is annoying. What's super interesting about that is the use of gagi in that specific context. And it makes me wonder. Trying to explain or trying to understand ga. Like, just ga on its own, I understand is like which, where, or something like that. Like the one who. But in this context, it's in the past, gi. But usually when I hear gi in my mind, it makes me think of like when. But in this case, it's like continuing the story. I don't know how to explain it. This is one of those things that's, yeah, that's when. Yeah, that makes sense, Neil. Egwoma. So that's probably the Egwoma part. And that's when they fasted, or not fasted, that's when they feasted and they smoked. Yeah. It's just like, as a learner, I sort of like figure out, it's like when you learn a word means this, but then actually later on you learn that it can also mean this, and it can also mean this, and it can also mean this. And with ga, it's like, oh, it sort of means like that context, but it can also mean that context, and it can also mean this context, and it can also mean this context. It's like rewiring my brain a little bit around the use of that word, or the use of that form, I guess.
Gagi mioa ta mehkoma higi mai se mamion getawa.
They had a good time, I guess. Gagi mioa ta mehkoma is what I heard.
Gagi mioa ta mehkoma higi mai se mamion getawa.
Mio why we singate?
Gagi mioa ta mehkoma higi mai se mamion getawa.
Wow, there's a lot in that last word. Let me slow that down.
Ka gimio ata me koma hegi mai se mamion getawa.
Bim ai isse mamio miun gate oma. Huh. Cool. I didn't know that word. I did not know that word. Yeah. A bim. There's no gi in there.
Ka gimio ata me koma hegi mai se mamion getawa.
Oh, yeah. His victory. A gi mais mamiun gate. It's just like, it's amazing. Yeah. All of those little bits in there are important to the meaning. I hope I'll understand it one day. Yeah. Neil says they celebrated his victory. Yeah, that's awesome. These are indexing issues because the spell checker is just having problems with both of them. This one it's having a problem with because of that ending, me, his victory through space and time. As if. Go sign autographs. Just kidding. Yeah, this victory through space and time. And that other one's having issues just because there's way too many bits in there for it to figure out.
Hegi mai se mamio oskawito ta koma.
Egi bim isse pimos exactly.
Hegi mai se mamio oskawito ta koma.
Mamio waskowi to tahkuma. There's an I before that. Egi mais mamio waskowi to tahkuma. Waskowita. I don't know if that one's in there either. Waskowito tam. No. But Waskowi. Okay, there is an H there. Waskowitota. I thought I was hearing that, but it's like that he had journeyed through that in a good way. Waskowi was to like move, but in this context that he'd moved through that challenge successfully, I guess you'd say. This one I need to flag Waskowito tam. It's gonna flag that one. The moves he made, yeah, his moves.
Meskano kagipe mamtimet.
Mumtimit. Oh, I just heard this word too. Mimetonate, I think it is. No. Mitoneo? No.
Meskano kagipe mamtimet.
Mumtimate. There it is. That road that he'd followed. Mitimate. Kagipim mitimate. Okay, come on. How come? What if I take that out? No, it's just having an issue with this. That's fine.
Meskano kagipe mamtimet.
Yeah, the road that he'd followed, I guess. The path that he'd followed.
Että he saa nagagi ne tomuko toho ke mao.
Hektesan.
Että he saa nagagi ne tomuko toho ke mao.
Nito, he was invited to see the chief invited him, I guess. Nito mekut.
Että he saa nagagi ne tomuko toho ke mao.
Hogemal, there's that collapsation again. Yeah. So then he was invited by the chief, I guess.
Aha, eikä kuului hunt. Astam. Peatse musta on antaa tegi tohtein.
Tantegi tohtien. Let's add some more to that.
Tan segi maisi tegein.
Is it again? I see it again. Is that what he said?
Tan segi maisi tegein.
Bim. I see it again. Dancing my seat again. Is seat ago? That should be right. Why are you having an issue with this? Is seat ago? Oh, it's a long I. I see. I wonder how they figure that's a long I with that H there. Let's listen to that one more time just to make sure I got it all.
Peatse musta on antaa tegi tohtein. Tan segi maisi tegein.
Let's add one more chunk on the end.
Atse musta oike taisi nimnavak.
You know what? I should change my mind. I will make that a new block. Timo Stoic. Gewitze. I seen Nimnoak. Our fellow peoples.
Atse musta oike taisi nimnavak. Kaksi kehtaakin.
Kitai. I don't know why I heard Wietse in there. Kitai Simnuak.
Atse musta oikee taisi nimnavak. Kaksi kehtaakin.
Tahkik. So they'll know. So we learned that ga or da to mean like to. So in this case you could say like tell them a story to know. If you wanted to. But in this case it's like more like the translation should be like so they will know. Neil says there's a dialectical difference because to us at Mostoic, all of you tell us. Yeah, I think you can use it both ways. If you look it up anyway, at Mostoic is all of you tell me, but it can also be you tell all of them. It can be used in both of those contexts that I've seen. And let's actually look it up. Atsumosto. And if we do here, Stoic. There's two of them. One there. Yeah, one here. You tell all of them, or all y'all tell. All y'all tell me. Those are the two. For whatever reason, they're the same. I just made me think of a prayer that I'd heard. If I've heard that used in prayer both ways. Now I have to think about that. Now I have to think about it.
Se san megi wa pahti hatan ma maskusi hai me gwa timotoma.
Ikse sanma. I always get the first little bit because I've heard it so many times. Morgan says, hey, Darcy, mananto, kimaga. Morgan says, tell them the story that they know. Well, for them to know, I think, right? He says kiga, but the way I learned that would be ta. Tagasketakik or gagastetakik. Right?
Atimostoik kitaisinim nawak. Gagskeitakik.
Gagastetakik. Yeah. The nice thing about the way I'm learning, Neil says, see, I'm learning new Kigways. Learning new Kigwaya. Kigwaya. Darcy says, doing good today, headed to a round at some Musquechies. Miasin Nanma. Yeah. One of the things I like about it's challenging sometimes when you're listening to fluent speakers because sometimes it can be really hard to hear the difference between ga and ga, especially in a very fast speech. So in some areas for this particular form of that form that means two, and even if we look in here, I think, where is it? Yeah, see in the conjunct. Okay, what am I looking at here? Infinitive, conjunct. I guess they list both. Yeah, they never used to. But anyway, they list both. So I'm gonna tell you, for me to tell you a story, ga'atsumostatan, or the way I learned it, da'atsumostatan. But I've also heard gitta, ga, or ta, or gitta. But the way Wes says it consistently is giga. Gigagasketak, for them to know it. And that's what's nice about him telling stories is like you can always tell if he's using ga or ga because he doesn't say ga, he says giga, like consistently.
Se san megi wa pahti hatan ma maskusi hai me gwa timotoma.
He showed him that grass, Muscosia, wa patehat.
Se san megi wa pahti hatan ma maskusi hai me gwa timotoma.
Ekwa e atsimutoma. Yeah. Neil says, in old school documents from the early 1900s, they always used gitta. Yeah, and if you look in the Plains Cree texts too, like if we go to most of these, lots of these are from, let's see if I can find one. Not gitataway. So yeah, there's an example right there we just went past. Right? Gitasapuiteet. But in here also, I think you can find gika. Yeah, see, gika nipahawak. So they use both. These stories are from, I think these ones are from Sacred Stories of Sweetgrass. So this is from Sweetgrass. They use both. And actually, Jim Ganipateo in his books too, he used both. So it's like a speaker preference, or just like, it makes you wonder, like, is there a difference? Do you just say it that way because it's feels better? Like, I don't know. Ray, can you put on hot water, please, so I can make some more tea? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, you just kind of hear all of them. The thing that threw me off lots, though, or even still when I was listening to him, is like when he says "kika," "kika." I always hear the future version of you, like "kika atimon," like you're gonna tell a story. "Kika nigamon," you're gonna sing. But I hear that "kika," and like my brain hasn't switched to like that sort of two meaning yet.
Ykseesaan megiwa pahtihaatan maskusia hemegwa timotoma.
There's another sound in there. Let me just play that last little bit again.
Tadma maskusia hemegwa timotoma.
Emegwa timut. Egwa emegwa timut, I think he says. Just play it one more time.
Ykseesaan megiwa pahtihaatan maskusia hemegwa timotoma.
Emegwa timut, okay. Emegwa timut. Is that long, eh? Megwa. Yeah. So then he showed them that grass while he told the story. Hey, he wapati hat egi wapati hat tanma maskusi megwa atsimutoma. He had shown them that grass while he was telling the story, I guess. We can skip that little chunk because I'm pretty sure it's a cough.
Kaginto pihko hato he. Misatemo kagin pahatan he.
Bihko, that's still like accomplish. Bihko hill. That he'd saved, released, that he those that he'd released, I guess. So I'm thinking of a different word. It must be. RMS says Stagats lol. Yeah, Colin, Mountain Man, 1, safe travels. Yeah, yes, and thankfully Musquecheese isn't too far.
Kaginto pihko hato he. Misatemo kagin pahatan he.
Oh yeah, thank you. Get a little refill on my tea. Lovely, thank you. Mistatemo. And that he'd killed that other one. I could be hearing Wes wrong, but it seems sometimes like he's going back and forth between misatemwa and mistatemwa, and it just could be that T, that first T, is really like soft or something, just the way I'm hearing it.
Kaginto pihko hato he. Misatemo kagin pahatan he.
And you killed that other one. I'm hearing misatemwa, but I'll just leave it. I'll leave it like that for now.
Kapm gano chigate. Ego kegi pi meet. Kapm gano chigate. Ego kegi pi meet.
Egwa iegok. Egipe wayim meat. Let me listen to that one more time.
Kapm gano chigate. Ego kegi pi meet.
Egipe ayamit. Oh, I see. Egipe. That he had a hard time. Yeah. MJM 003, you getting paid from the government to know this stuff? Not really. I mean, we had a grant to capture some of these videos. But I mean, we're doing this on our own time. Like, if that's what you mean. I'm not getting paid right now. This is my language learning process, right?
Emana peaste shekap.
Epe mana astesi.
Emana peaste shekapo.
What does that mean? Mana. With hesitation. Interesting. Epe.
E mana pe aste se ka po.
Stay sin, to rest. Just let me put those blocks together and listen to them in one chunk. I'm going to grab the text out of this one.
Kapm ka no e chigate. E go ke gi pe ai mit. E mana pe aste se ka po.
I'm actually wondering why that's not doing what it's supposed to. Oh, it's a long A. Interesting. How you meet. You meet. Okay. I just got to think about this for a second. Let me back up and just play that again.
Kaginto piko hato he. Misatema kagin pahatan he.
That he'd freed those horses and he'd killed that other one, that Blackfoot he's talking about.
No e chigate.
Ganaway-Tsagate is like that he cared for them. Ganaway-Tsageo. Kept them safe, I guess you'd say. Egwa-Iakok. Through. This is another one of those words, like, I think I know what that means, but it keeps getting used in a context that I'm like, to the extent, by comparison, when the time comes. Only then, not until then, when the time comes. This is one of those things where it's like, this is like Pim. If I can, Neil says the guard. Did I miss something? The guard. Oh, we killed the one. Oh, hold on. No, I've got that wrong. Yeah. Jiskwa.
Kapm ka no e chigate.
Ganaway-Tsagate. Yeah, that other one. Thank you. Nice catch. Gagi nipahat anigiga kapm ganaway-Tsagate. That other one. Egwa. Which in my mind, Egwa's like new sentence. I know that's not what it means. But, and then he had so this chunk here, he had a sufficiently difficult time in his cautious amount of rest, I guess? I don't know. Come on, Neil. Ego Egip Mayamit e Manape Aste Sikapo. Yeah, he had such, okay, that makes sense. He had such a hard time. So in this case, you're saying like, which is, that's funny, because when you use it in context, like you just use one like so or such, but like when you just pluck out that one word, yeah, I guess so much to such a degree. Yeah. Okay, so it's right there, to such an extent. I will, when I hear it, I'm like, I get it, but then we're going to try and put this back in English. So I never blame somebody when they're like, I don't know how to say that in English. It's like, yeah, I get that. Iego egipe ayemit emana pe astesi. When he was, like, this part here was he was careful about his resting, but like, would you phrase it that way? How would you say that? more eloquently. Like, it's so interesting the way you say things in the language sometimes. Dancy Renee. It's so interesting the way you say things in the language sometimes. And actually, now that I think about it, this part here, e manapiaste seek, is actually directly related to his having a difficult time, right? That makes sense now that I think about it. That makes sense. He had that he'd had such a difficult time with his cautious resting or something. I don't know. Okay, let's just keep going. We beat that one to death. Yeah.
난도 사람이 처음에 이기시만 그사대다 홈 난도 사람이 처음에 난도 사람이 처음에 이기시만 그사대다 홈
What's that second word?
난도 사람이 처음에 이기시만 그사대다 홈
Satimice. Nanto satimice.
난도 사람이 처음에 이기시만 그사대다 홈
Igishmixkate takuma.
난도 사람이 처음에 이기시만 그사대다 홈
What's that second word? Migoskatetak. Migoskatetak. You slow it down a bit and just.
난도 사람이 처음에 난도 사람이 처음에
What does that mean? What is that word?
난도 사람이 처음에
No. Nanto esa. Is he saying Nanto esa?
난도 사람이 처음에 난도 사람이 처음에
I'm just gonna flag that one. I have no idea. Sounds kind of like that, but I know that's not it. We'll just flag it. That's a Wes question. What did you say there? Just play that whole thing and see if the previous sentence helps refresh.
가긴도 비고 하도 해 미사테모 가긴 파하탄 해 가끔가노 에치게 이거 계기 비아이 미 에마나 베아스테 시가포 난도 사람이 처음에 이기시만 그사대다 홈
Ron says, in case he's caught up with, what's the Cree word though? Nanto. What's the Cree word between Nanto and Oma is what we're trying to find. So I don't know the word.
난도 사람이 처음에 이기시만 그사대다 홈
Yeah. If you can, Ron, just drop it in the chat if you know it. Christy. Aia. Danse. Mangsketi no metuin. Nanto. Yeah. It sounds satimi. It sounds like, I don't know it either, this word. Like, is he saying Nanto esa? Nanto sa dimi. Anybody, if anybody knows the word, just drop it in there and we'll see if we can go find it. That's kind of like that other one. What was that word? Natoge or something like that. And I found after I sat with Wes and worked on it, it was Nitoga or something like that. Natoga. Okay. No, I can't find it now. I'll have to go back and look for it. It's in the resolved issues, but it was like, it meant if it hadn't been, basically the context was like, if it hadn't been for the knife that his kokom gave him, but it was like nataga or something like that. We just couldn't No, intoga. That's what it sounded like. Nitoga. Pretty sure that's what it was. See, I want to remember the word now. No. Just in case they caught up with him. What's the Cree word, though, Darcy? That's what we're stuck on. What's the Cree word?
Nanto sa timi cho me.
Sa timitse. I'm just trying to like rack my brain and sa timitse. Yeah. Come back to it. If you know the Cree word, drop it in there somewhere. Oh, that's the word. Nanto se. Oh, it's Nanto is part of the word you're saying.
Nanto sa timi.
Nito sa no. Nito sa to sa to sa dim. Yeah, I don't know. So what you're saying is it's I just don't know the word. That's okay. We can keep going. We don't need to sit here stuck on this one all night. Yeah. Atim. Darcy's saying adimitse. I get it now. Adimitse. If so, it's this. It's this. Thank you. It was tickling my brain a little bit. Isse adimitse. But that collapsation is happening. I wonder if you can say Isa Dimitse. Isatameo. Isatameo. I wonder if you can say that. Nope. So what's happening is that same process, I think. Nanto sa Dimitse. Dimitse. Okay. Thank you. Ha! Awesome. Hello.
What did you need me to boil you water for?
Oh no, I got it. Jan got it for me. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
When do you think you'll be getting off?
No, good. Yeah, nanto isse.
That's not
Nanto. All right, so let's hold on. Let me back up a little bit because I want to.
Kapam ka no chigate. Ego kegi pi meet.
Right.
Emana peaste se kapo. Nanto sa timi cho me egi mamikusa te ta kom. Yakse sana. Egi sa chemo.
Egse san.
Yakse sana. Egi sa chemo.
So we finished the story. I didn't want to back up for 1 second and just.
Nanto sa timi cho me egi mamikusa te ta kom.
Oh, it's not adimitse if they catch up with him. Adimitse. That's totally different yet. Because that's the difference between adimitse and adimitse. Those mean different things. Adimitse. That's no. Adimitse. But he's not saying no, but it's this one here. It's down here. Oh, it's not on this list. It's going to be the. Bear with me. It's this one, but it's in the if context. If he is caught up with, I guess you'd say. Brandon says, oh yeah, right on. Good surprise to you. Hey, this is the surprise transcription, Friday night transcription party. Welcome. I'm yeah, Ron, like Ron said, in case he is caught up with. That's exactly. Thank you for that hint. That's amazing. Elwiku? What language is it? Nehioe and Plains Cree dialect. Nehioe when we're working on tonight. And past and present tense, Noel says, but it's more like what they call, the fancy word for it is future imperative, or no, sorry, it's infinitive. So if I say, like if we say nigamu, and we're talking about someone, that one sings, okay? But if we say nigamotse, and we're saying if that one sings, or when that one sings. So it doesn't really have a tense. It's not like past or present. It's sort of like if or when. If that one sings or when that one sings. But for that particular one, it's the difference between this. Atemeo is now involving two different people. That one catches up with someone else, we'll say. And then if we say atimitse, is that what you say that? Atimitse, is that correct? Yeah, there it is there. That one, atimitse. But that means if that one catches up with me, because it's a, yeah, which is confusing. It actually comes from this, a atimitsit, that one, as, you'd say maybe, as or when that one catches up with me, you could say that. And then this would be if that one catches up with me. But the one we're talking about specifically is this. I'm just double checking my, no, it'd be, yeah, it'd be this, at the meat. At the meat, which is specifically that one, you'd say as or when, I guess, that one is caught up with. So we've taken a word that involves two people, and we've sort of, we're not being specific. Like in this one, I say, atemetse, if that one, we're talking about somebody specific. In this one, eatami, we're being unspecific as to who caught up with them, right? And so we take this and we turn it into this. That now becomes if that one. How did Ron put that? In case he's caught up with. If that one is caught up with. So again, we talked about that chart, this one here from the Cree literacy, and it's in here somewhere. Atik, ati, ati, itse, right here. You can see it right here. That one right there. Itse. So we're into the grammar when we're talking about this. Who's doing what to who and under what context? Who's doing what to who under what context? Nanto se, nanto sat. And again, that process happened here. Which actually tells me that it's nantoese. It's not a preverb is se, nantoese. What does that mean? If you just say nantoese, how do you understand that, Ron? Or yeah, we had some other fluent speakers here a minute ago. Noel, welcome back, Noel, by the way. Darcy, how do you understand that? Nantoese. What does that mean? In case. Okay. In case. If by chance, would you say that? If by chance? That's cool. This is one of those challenging things. What? Sorry, I'll come back to this. Noble Sauvage says, "Oh, my creator, finally found you. I'm going to stay to learn. Be open to be a contracted linguistics teacher." I'm not a linguist. I mean, reach out to me. We can talk a little bit, but I'm not a linguist. I'm also not a teacher. I'm just a language learner. Send me a direct message. We could chat about this after. See what it is that you're looking for here. Maybe we can point you in the right direction. Nantoese. This is one of those scenarios where, as learners, we learn like nanto, which is like, what is nanto? Like about. In some cases, nanto can be something negative, like nantogiwe, right? Okay, so here's a bunch here. But like, nanto we kind of learn is like about. Or if you say monanto, that's the first context as a learner in which you learn nanto. Moya, nanto, which sort of means like there's nothing wrong, nothing bad, or fine. In that context, it just means fine. But nanto on its own can mean about, but depending on the context, it can also mean something bad, like nantogigwe. Anyhow? Yeah, so like getting into these more advanced contexts or like understandings really takes time. But then isse on its own is like thus, like when you're talking about like a direction towards, yeah, right? So then you've like about and towards, but you put them together and you get in case. It's just like one of the most challenging things about the language is understanding when you put these together. And the funny thing is that like once you get it, it's like it makes sense. Like the first time I heard eogo is like this one or that one. Oche, from, for, with, by, because. You put them together, that's the reason why. And it makes sense to me now. Like it makes sense that they belong together, but it takes a while. It takes some like restructuring of thinking to understand how these fit together to make those phrases. This part is really challenging as a language learner. Yeah, just in case. Yeah. That's cool. Nantoese. I want to remember that one, so that's pretty cool. Nantoese. And I'm going to put that in there. We worked really hard on this. We've spent like 20 minutes just on this little phrase, eh? Just in case he was caught up. How did you put that? Caught up with is the way around put it. Claudine says, definitely speaks to the depth of the Nehiu language is so sophisticated. It is so sophisticated. You could just say, sometimes there's some things where like, I mean, I guess it works both ways, but like you can say a lot with just a very small word or phrase can mean so much, but then like, yeah, the language is so sophisticated. Just in case he was caught up with. How would you phrase the rest of that? Egiism, just in case he'd been caught up with. And then this part is like he was worried about it, or he was, yeah, worried about it basically. But how do these two pieces fit together? That's the part I don't get. Yeah. Yep, that's okay. We can just move on.
Ja kun se sana, eikin saatse mut.
So then he finished his story.
Anma, tante heki ei tohteet, tanseeki ei tahkamkset.
Danse. Oh, just a long way there. Dante, danse, egi itakamkset, I think he said.
Anma, tante heki ei tohteet, tanseeki ei tahkamkset. Ko mamaskusi e wa pahti hatin tonekta mi kohe agua moi.
And that grass that he had showed them.
Ko mamaskusi e wa pahti hatin tonekta mi kohe agua moi.
Did he just reduplicate the grass?
Ko mamaskusi e wa pahti hatin tonekta mi kohe agua moi.
Can you do that? Or is he just saying Eogoma? I think it's Oma.
Ko mamaskusi e wa pahti hatin tonekta mi kohe agua moi.
Mitunimiko. What's that last word?
Tonekta mi kohe agua moi. Tonekta mi kohe agua moi.
Oh, that's after mitune chisqua. Chisqua.
Tonekta mi kohe agua moi.
Eguta miko e aguamo. Aguamo. Is it's this one here. Aguamoi. No, it can't be it. There's no N.
Tonekta mi kohe agua moi.
It sounds like aguamoik. That's what I'm hearing. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, aguamoik. Trace of blood on the grass. Yeah. Yeah, which is the cool part of the story, right? Because we're going to get to the part where he gets his name here in a minute. I'm just going to try and find this word for a second. Guamo. Oh, yeah, so is blood? Wait a minute. Miko is. Okay, it's inanimate. Aguamo. It sounds like he's saying aguamoik. Aguamo. No, it wouldn't be that though. Guam. He's not saying aguamoit. Aguamoik. Sounds like that. I will flag this one and we'll come back and ask Wes what he's saying there. But basically there was blood there. What's it? Stuck to it or attached, I guess you'd say. We know what he's saying, I just can't find the word.
Taho ma wagas te o ese te. Taho ma wagas te o ese te. Kas te o ese te igi pa koha mogo mi ko wen.
Skideo ayasit.
Taho ma wagas te o ese te. Kas te o ese te igi pa koha mogo mi ko wen.
What's that last word? Igi pakwa ham.
Kas te o ese te igi pa koha mogo mi ko wen.
Pakwa hammo. Elgo miko in. I think he said.
Kas te o ese te igi pa koha mogo mi ko wen.
Uma. Didn't even know you could say that way either. The blood stain. Let's go find this one. Chisqua. That I wiped. Bahquaham. Bahquaham. Listen to it one more time.
Kas te o ese te igi pa koha mogo mi ko wen. Kas te o ese te igi pa koha mogo mi ko wen.
I'm just gonna flag that because I'm not sure. It's again, I'm not familiar with the form. I know what he's saying, like the blood that was wiped off, right? But I'm not sure the specific form. That's fine, we'll just keep going.
Egisin pahak ei töötes.
Egisi Nipahak Itik no.
Yoksan mietigi saatsi
Just what?
egisin pahak ei töötes. Egisin pahak ei töötes.
Wait.
Egisin pahak ei töötes.
Wait something?
Egisin pahak ei töötes.
Sounds like Asa. Must be that. Ron is saying Bahquahamut. Well, he wiped, so it wasn't the Blackfoot that wiped the blood, it was him. He wiped the blood. He cleaned the knife off with that grass, is what he's saying. But yeah, again, definitely I don't know the specific form of, like, Bahquaham, Bahquahamok. Let me just listen to it one more time.
Euktahomaa ogas kas teoja tegi pahkohamogomi kuun.
Yeah. Mok. That's okay. Come back to it. Come back to it. You need to keep in mind, like, Wes is 40 minutes into the story. We're almost at 40 minutes in, right? So 40 minutes into a story.
Yoksan mietigi saatsi motan he.
Eksanma
Kagi te poate kutoki mao.
egise atsemut anma, I think he said.
Yoksan mietigi saatsi motan he. Kagi te poate kutoki mao.
Have a good night, Darcy. You tipskanse. Have a good round dance.
Yoksan mietigi saatsi motan he. Kagi te poate kutoki mao.
Ki pe. Is it pe twap, pe ta, pe kagi pe
Kagi te poate kutoki mao.
te puategut. Te puategut. He addressed te puateo, I think. Te puateo is the verb. Oh, I see. The chief called to him. Te puategut. O gimawa. Yeah. Hiksan megi e atagi sat semut ani higagi pe te puategut o gimawa. Neat.
Astam. Mahtinigoa pahteinan he kata kunaman.
Let me have a look at that you're carrying, I guess.
Astam. Mahtinigoa pahteinan he kata kunaman.
Wapatin katahkunaman. What's the word in between?
Astam. Mahtinigoa pahteinan he kata kunaman.
Oh, so he is saying that. Okay, yeah. Katahkunaman. That. Let me have a look at that you were carrying, I guess. Those that you were carrying.
Yakse sa tapo iginto miatan. Oke bawa.
Egi is. Just one more time.
Yakse sa tapo iginto miatan. Ogimawa.
Into miat. Anihe, I think he said. Ogimawa.
Ekse sa tapo iginto miatan. Ogimawa.
Yeah. Hey, 40 minutes in.
Ego hanoge mawesa. Igi kanawa pahtakan.
Egwana. Ogimao. Ace, I think he said.
Ego hanoge mawesa. Igi kanawa pahtakan.
Esa, igi kanawapa take. Egi kanawap. Anihe, I think he said. Kanawapa take.
Ego hanoge mawesa. Igi kanawa pahtakan.
Yeah, he took a look at that grass.
Kapiks kwatatan he kai go I hunt kap mai te go sit.
Ka pig squatat.
Kapiks kwatatan he kai go I hunt kap mai te go sit.
Kai go we hunet. I didn't even, what is that word anyway? We who knew? Oh, the one with no name. Okay. We who knew. We who and oh yeah, of course that's what that means. Okay, that makes sense. It might take my brain a second to catch up here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, refresh. Yeah.
Kapiks kwatatan he kai go I hunt kap mai te go sit.
Go. Oh. It go see it. It sounds like go see it. That's what I'm hearing, but one second.
Kapiks kwatatan he kai go I hunt kap mai te go sit.
Oh, okay, yeah. The one that was given that name, the one with no name, I guess. So then the Ogimao spoke to the one with no name, effectively. Let me just flag that.
Kapiks.
This is it. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say it go see it. It has an implication that his name is like almost ceremonial. Does that sound right? It go see it.
Me tone he mami tehi a koma. Kantau I takamksi.
Mitihia. Uma. You've made us really proud, I guess you'd say.
Me tone he mami tehi a koma. Kantau I takamksi.
Gawi.
Me tone he mami tehi a koma. Kantau I takamksi.
That's what you've done. Itamekisian. Am I hearing that right?
Me tone he mami tehi a koma. Kantau I takamksi.
Kanto takamksin. That you've gone and done, I guess you'd say. We're really proud of the thing you've gone and done.
Ini go kape misigi we chigain.
Such, so, or such. And also, proud of your actions. That makes sense. Ron says, proud of your actions. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Ini go kape misigi we chigain. Ini go kape misigi we chigain.
Kiwe tsigiin.
Ini ko kape misigi we chigain.
Oh, interesting. Kiwe tsigio. Didn't even know you could say that. Huh. That's what I'm hearing.
Ini ko kape misigi we chigain.
Yeah. Also the things you brought home, but it's almost like and the bountiful, but like it like the just speaking to like the bounty or the amount of it, right? Let me just check this one here. Yeah, nothing there. What about that? Key weights, key weights, one key weight, key weights. Yeah, so we'll just flag that one because I think it's new. All right.
Mistahan me tagi te ko euquananma. Mistahan me tagi te ko euquananma.
What's that second word? I thought it was unma at first, but I'm not hearing unma in there.
Mistahan me tagi te ko euquananma.
Mr. Hanma. Mr. Unma. Mr. Hanma.
Mistahan me tagi te ko euquananma.
Tagi teo. Is that right? Itagi teo. Valued. This is that word that sometimes you hear with what do they say? Tanta to oasis itagiteo. I think that's that word that they use for that shirt sometimes, isn't it?
Mistahan me tagi te ko euquananma.
Elguananma. But I gotta ask some smarter people than me about this, because if you just use anma. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just leave it for now. I hear that a lot. Elguananma. It's like a reduplication almost.
Huia mi che tai sino ki kawa utun ge to mi te kagi tohte inoma.
I see you know.
Huia mi che tai sino ki kawa utun ge to mi te kagi tohte inoma.
You hear that? Hey Neil, are you still there? Do you hear that? Wow, oh Dingate. What? Giga wow, Dingate. Ron says honorable duty. Yeah, that's cool. Oh Dingate. Many people will be able to, I guess you'd say, benefit from. When you look up Otinigil in the, this is a word that Wes uses a lot. Like, in the modern context, it's like shopping, I guess. Take things, I guess. But when I hear, actually, I think it's this one, Otinigil with that, yeah, from there, gets things from there. Yeah, no, that must be it. Otinigil, not Otinigil, Otingil. The benefit they will receive from that, I guess. Gigawa wow dingit.
Huia mi che tai sino ki kawa utun ge to mi te kagi tohte inoma.
Omi te, oma ite, but again it turns into this. This is another particle phrase that doesn't really show up, and it's really like this. Omi te, just It's just not in there. Omite and umita is another one. I hear lots, but it's just not in the dictionary for whatever reason. Omite. And actually, probably should just write it like this, because that's what it is. Omite.
Uia mi te taisino ki kawa o tunge to mi te kagi tohte inoma.
I'm just going to flag that, and then that'll probably lead to a debate about how that should be spelled, honestly. Yeah, I'm going to listen to that one more time.
Uia mi te taisino ki kawa o tunge to mi te kagi tohte inoma.
It will benefit greatly, I think, from where you went. I guess he's saying. Tapwe, kista mi o tipskanse. Yeah. Muestas, Christy.
E kwa anot utaho te o skinigo.
Omite, where you've been. Oh yeah, interesting. Ron says omite, where you have been. I'm just gonna flag that because
Uia mi te taisino.
Ron Harper. I'll just make a note on that so we have it for later. Yeah. Yeah.
E kwa anot utaho te o skinigo.
Skinigu. If only all stories were told one word at a time with like a breath in between. Egwa. Hanuts. Uta. That'd make my job easy. Hey, trying to piece these back together. Oh, hey, we're at 40 minutes. We're almost at 41 minutes. There's gonna be like a celebration when so we got 20 minutes left here.
E kai ko I hunt kai te ko sian mana. Na mo ia ki toam.
Knit.
E kai ko I hunt kai te ko sian mana. Na mo ia ki toam.
Go siin Uma.
E kai ko I hunt kai te ko sian mana. Na mo ia ki toam.
If Githam has a long I, probably does. Githam. Yeah. And one of the cool things about this actual process of transcribing is like, I won't always play it from the beginning, but I'll play it from the beginning at least 3 or 4 times. As part of that repetition of like just hearing it again and again and again, especially if we just like figured out a word that was really hard, listen to it again and be like, oh yeah, okay, now I recognize it. It's part of that process for me of like hearing it over and over and over. It helps sink some of those things in.
Wi ka tau ia gekse. Kai si ka tik.
Oh yeah. Egote?
Wi ka tau ia gekse. Kai si ka tik. Wi ka tau ia gekse. Kai si ka tik.
Nobody's going to call you that from now on, basically. We got Aoia Kekse Kika. See, now we use Kika, but it's in the what they call the independent. It's not, doesn't mean two. Well, I mean, it does mean two in this context, I guess, but, but it's not in the conjunct anymore. Yeah.
Anot. Ki wa pa te nan. E ki spina tamasoin.
But Hinan, you've shown us. Anuts, you've shown us today.
Anot. Ki wa pa te nan. Egispinatamasoin.
You've accomplished for yourself, I guess. Gispinitamasoin. Masoin. Gispinitamasoin. Disco. Let me go find this. Gispinatamasoin, is that what he said?
Anot. Kiwapahtihinan. Egispinatamasoin.
Gispinatamasoin. Gispinatamasoin. I think that means to accomplish for yourself or do something for yourself. Earned it, I guess. Yeah, earned it. You've shown us that you've earned it.
Wihuin. Indoneso. Rake mamatawa. Wihuin. Indoneso. Rake mamatawa.
Suke. Mama. Yeah. Tawa. Isuge mama. You've earned yourself a powerful name, I guess you'd say. Oh, we're at the point that we're 40 minutes in. We're probably like 25 hours of transcribing on this. Maybe 25, 20 anyway.
Wihkaswaho hikapeiki uehtai.
Wikaskwa.
Wihkaswaho hikapeiki uehtai.
Kakipe. Ito.
Wihkaswaho hikapeiki uehtai.
Kiwehtayan. Kiwehtatao. Jiskwa. Yeah. Kiwehtatayan.
Ano soota hohte. Wihkasko kiseen. Kikaitikuusen.
Nice. Anut uta. Ute, I think you said.
Ano soota hohte. Wihkasko kiseen. Kikaitikuusen.
Wikasko kiseen. Ka itikuusen. That would have to be kika itikuusen. And we'll just flag that as wikasko kiseen. Old man Sweetgrass. Oh, we say Sweetgrass, but old man Sweetgrass, I guess. Cool. Cody says, you have shown us that you are earning, striving for yourself. Striving for yourself, you are independent. Cody Labakan, you have shown us that you are earning, surviving, striving for yourself, that you are independent. Was that your interpretation of that? Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Igispinatamasoyan, I guess.
Eugananma. Ektahi igispinatahka uihun. Wihkaskoksein eugahmana kaitaya. Eugananma. Ektahi igispinatahka uihun. Wihkaskoksein eugahmana kaitaya kumakaya tsemaya.
Igispinatahkumawihun. I gotta go find that gispinatam. Earned it. Earns it. That makes sense. Yeah, which would be the root for that gispinatamasin. Yeah, gispinatamoil. So you could earn for someone or from someone. Earn it for someone. Or obtain it for someone. Huh. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, cool, Cody says. That was for the earlier words, pretty much believe what it means. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, did I get all of that?
E o ganan ma. E kutahi i spina tahka o ihon. Wi ka skok sene ko mana kai ta ya ko makaya che baya.
Wikaskuksin. One more time. Let's grab that last chunk there.
Wi ka skok sene ko mana kai ta ya ko makaya che baya.
Mana.
Wi ka skok sene ko mana kai ta ya ko makaya che baya.
Ka itayak. Oh, I see.
Wi ka skok sene ko mana kai ta ya ko makaya che baya.
Uma ka atimayak. I wonder if you'd say it that way. Atimayak. Oh, and that's a atim. Yeah. Itayak, the one that we speak about, we tell about, we tell. Atimeo is to tell about someone, I guess. Tell about someone. Iteo, speak up, tell about, say about, speak about. Well, it says to, but you can about as well. Yeah, speak, say thus about someone. We go saying. Elgonanma egota. So that's where he earned that name for himself. And we egumana. Let's listen to the next little bit of this.
Oh me gi o tohta he tawasis. Oh me gi o tohta he tawasis.
Egi do da. Sounds like a tohta he tawasis. Does that make sense?
Oh me gi o tohta he tawasis.
O tohta hit. Chisqua. Oh, he'd been brought, that child that had been brought. Yeah. This particular form confuses me because it's an inverse. He'd been brought. From where he'd been brought. Ohpame, like he'd been brought from over there. Brought from afar, would you say? Ohpame. He'd been brought from another place, somewhere else. Yeah, that makes sense. This child had been brought from another place. Go in a little bit more here. Yeah.
Magi go ke gi te ka ki chika pawit ne hiana.
Egi. I know exactly what he's saying.
Magi go ke gi te ka ki chika pawit ne hiana.
But he had earned a sufficient standing. I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying. I've heard very similar words from Wes recently using gihtagapwit, isagapwit. He's just like, he uses words like that a lot, but he's talking about this standing. He'd earned a sufficient standing.
Magi go ke gi te ka ki chika pawit ne hiana.
In the camp. Long A? Hiana. So yeah, he had earned sufficient standing or notoriety within the Cree community, I guess you'd say. Yeah. Ron says honorable.
O sa mo si utsi tigeo.
Isi Tsigewin. That's a long I. We just discovered that earlier. Because of this doing, I guess you would say. When you look at that word, what is that? Sitsugeo is to go about something, right? But what are some other ways you would say that? Act or deed, because of this deed that he had done. Because of his deeding, his conduct. Thank you, Ron. His conduct. Usamo moche. Sitsugewin. Because of his conduct. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing that as learners we struggle with, hey, is like first we're trying to figure out the word, but then like how to put the word back into. And there's even, and I know other learners like this too. I'm sure I've even heard Neil say this, or other learners just like, we'll get to a point where we understand what a word means, and then it'll be like that. I don't know how to say this in English. I know what it means. I don't know how to say it in English. Yeah, it's challenging.
Mina.
Okay, we need more than that. Mina. Let's grab some more here.
Kai
Let's grab that chunk.
adea tan so manigai tan.
Mina. We'll just put it in as a false start. Guy.
Mina. Kai adea tan so manigai tan.
What am I trying to say? Or how do I say this, I guess you'd say it.
Tapsku tigo ke gise miono te keise.
Oh, that's yeah, there's that phrase again. There's that phrase again. I just figured this out today.
Tapsku tigo ke gise miono te keise. Tapsku tigo ke gise miono te keise.
Why did he start it that way?
Tapsku tigo ke gise miono te keise.
That seems like a false start, and then he says mionok. Mionokese.
Tapsku tigo ke gise miono te keise.
Hold on, I gotta pull this conversation with Neil because we talked about this morning, and I forget what this is. We just talked about. I said this to Neil this morning. I was like, "What is this?" Because I can hear it, I just don't know it. Just what's in my conversation here. I gotta go back to this morning. Mio no. Chisqua. Oh, tahkese. Mino tahkese. To a good place. How come that's that a short A? Tahkese. Mino tahkese.
Tapsku tigo ke gise miono te keise.
No, he said it differently this time. Ite kese. Is that a word? Oh my goodness, this is so challenging. Okay, let me get back. Just need to double check. Again, in a good way. Yeah, it's like the trouble we're having is finding the words, finding the actual words that he's saying. Yeah, because Ron, when each of these words turns blue for a reason, because we have technically a spell checker, but there's like, it's the there's like, I'll call it, it's an analysis of what it is. So it's sort of like identifying what each of these different words are. And I can show you why that's important. Give me a second. I'll go find this. Just because I could show you why we do that, because one of the projects that we're working on looks like this. This is an old version. But if we can link all of the words using the spell checker, we can link all of the words back to basically a database where we can go find things, right? So I can search in here and say isse, and see everywhere that isse has been mentioned within a transcription that I've done, and then I can go and click on there and listen to it. Or like iagok, right? Gok, right? So these are all the different places that iagok. So if I'm trying to study how do I use this word correctly, then I can go back and search, right? And so that's why I spend so much time trying to find the word, like this one, mianok, a good place, I guess. But it just doesn't exist in the dictionary. So anyway, that's why I spend so much time on that. Iamdas says miona, miwanok, yeah. Ite gese. But it sounds gese. No, gese. No. Gese. Gese. I don't know. Gonna flag it. I hear it all the time. He says this all the time, and I just can't figure out what it is. Like, I know what it means, I just don't know what the words are. Miunok gese. Miunok. But
Tapsku tigo ke gise mionok te keise.
Miunok te gese. And so then I'm wondering, is it actually a verb? Because he said egise. I'm just going to put this whole thing together, and I'm going to flag the whole thing. Gese. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm just going to flag it because I don't know what it is. He'd sufficiently brought everything to a good place, I guess. Brought everything to a good conclusion. Miunok is like a good place. Yeah, I don't know. There's it's like a complex phrase, right? It's really tricky.
Egitskwe kapot.
Egi itisque kapuit. We just ran into this, didn't we? Itisque
Egitskwe kapot.
Itisque kapuit. See if we can find that one. Itiscawe. It had such an effect on his standing. Itisque. Chisqua. Itisque geo. Made such an impression toward itisque. So this word itisque is giving me the impression of like such a location. So here are some definitions: such a location, such an impression, to be in such a position. So I guess in this context, it's telling me like. But then the gapuit is like his standing. Itisque Gapwood. He'd put his standing in such a position, I guess you'd say. That's my impression of that word. Egi itisque Gapwood.
Egitsque kapaut.
Yeah. Also
Egitsque kapaut.
needs a flag because it's not anywhere we can find.
O Saamessa he waa paniikan ma igisini mihto ehtoma.
Oh, really?
O Saamessa he waa paniikan ma igisini mihto ehtoma.
I can't help you right now. I'm in the middle of.
I'm just asking when you plan on getting. I'm just asking when you plan on getting.
Soon actually, because it's like 9. Oh, it's 8. my computer's on a different time. Yeah, I am says he's standing towards the good side. I guess. Yeah, I don't fully understand the word. I just know, just because of that gapuit part, I've heard that gapu is his standing, and Wes uses that phrasing or that wording all the time about standing. He talks about standing, all like you're standing in the community, or you're standing in terms of like, a circle of, like just in scenarios where, well, I mean, even there's a video on our YouTube channel here. This one here where Wes talked about sharing the stories. He talks about having the standing to be able to share them, right? So he talks about that a lot. So I know that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about. And then just trying to infer that other mean itisque gapwit. So when I looked on Ben's site here, finding other words that start with itisque go deo, to be in such a position. Itisque pu, with your head that way. Itisque sin, lies that way. Itisque stoeo, to face someone. Itisque you, oops, get rid of that. So maybe it has to do with facing. I don't know. I'll ask Wes. Let me change that.
Egits.
If I flag this with red, that means when I sit down with Wes, we can go through it, and he'll tell me exactly what it means. Yeah, like his standing took an about face, I guess you'd say. His standing took an about face. Yeah, maybe that's what it means.
O Saamessa he waa paniikan ma igisini mihto ehtoma.
It was dawn when they finished dancing, I guess. Nimito. I think that's what he said.
O Saamessa he waa paniikan ma igisini mihto ehtoma.
So I know it sounds like a nimito wit. Hey, four feather, namananto niya, kimaga. And because it was dawn when they finished dancing.
Kagi nā tātanhem satima kagi peki ehtaha.
Kagi nata.
Kagi nā tātanhem satima kagi peki ehtaha.
He went and fetched his horses, I
Kagi
guess.
nā tātanhem satima kagi peki ehtaha.
He went in Nateo. He went to get them, or went in search of them. He went for his horses, I guess.
Kagi nā tātanhem satima kagi peki ehtaha.
Dimwa. Those horses he brought back. Kagi peki weta. The horses he brought back. Yeah. Miko skuagak. Hope I'm saying that right. Neote. Saskatoon. Menat Misaskatoon Natagok. Nianan. I think that's. Boy, I got that right. Miasinanma. We're working on some Sweetgrass stories tonight. Very specifically Sweetgrass.
Ni so e saki mi e wanhe no kom kagi tatman. Kagi na tatan he masate ma kagi peki o ehtaha.
Yeah.
Ni so e saki mi e wanhe no kom kagi tatman.
Gimieo. He gave 2 to his kokum. Ane here, I think he said.
Ni so e saki mi e wanhe no kom kagi tatman.
Gagi tat.
Ni so e saki mi e wanhe no kom kagi tatman.
Gagi tat. So is there a word gitat or is it gagi tat? He told them.
Ni so e saki mi e wanhe no kom kagi tatman.
So 2 he gave. Nokom he told them. My grandmother. That's what I'm getting out of that.
Ki ka apache hait ka picho e to magi ka
Pa che hai.
Ki ka apache hait ka picho e to magi ka Ki ka apache hait ka picho e to magi ka
He says that so specifically. I think he means bitsu. But it's what I'm hearing is this kapitsuit, but that's not like that's what I'm hearing kapitsuitoma.
Ki ka apache hait ka picho e to magi ka
So I'm hearing it very specifically. Oma. Yeah, for like traveling, moving. Yeah, for moving camp pitsui. But it's again, it's the form. That form doesn't exist in the. I just don't understand it. I will flag it because I've heard that before in several. I've heard that form and like he uses it a lot, and I don't know if it's like specific something that we've just. Or if it's. Just quoi. Bitsu. See, this is the one I think it's a variation of ga pitsuit, ga pitsiit. I'll just flag it. Let's grab the rest of that.
pap mo ta te kutahana no to wawana. Pap mo ta te kutahana no to wawana.
Papimutat.
Pap mo ta te kutahana no to wawana.
Missing a word in there.
Pap mo ta te kutahana no to wawana.
Anna. Notaguana. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can play them together. 1 second. Chisqua.
Ni so e saki mi e wanhe no kom kagi tatman. Ki ka apache hait ka picho e to magi ka pap mo ta te kutahana no to wawana.
Yeah. Yeah, just that one, like it means to move or move camp or something like that or whatever. Just the form I'm not familiar with, so I'll have to. And I've flagged it as the one I thought it was before, but the more I hear this one, I'm like, it sounds different. So I'll just keep it like that for now and come back to it.
O miko wa minaga kyo higi ko kagi kagi pitchik man.
Let me make that shorter because there's a lot in there.
O mikua minaga kyo higi guaikap.
H and Miguap. Miguap. Jishkwa. Oh, it's a long I, Miguap. Yeah, okay. That one's a long I.
O mikua minaga kyo higi guaikap.
Move it over a bit.
O higi guaikap. Kagi pimkagi pit. O higi guaikap. Kagi pimkagi pit. Kyo higi guaikap. Kagi pimkagi.
There's a lot in there.
Kyo higi guaikap. Kagi pimkagi pit chikman.
There's a false start.
Kyo higi guaikap. Kagi pimkagi pit chikman.
Gagip and Pitstick. All of her things, basically for when she's moving camp, I guess. For her lodge and for all of her things for when she moves camp. But that should be Jishkwa.
O mikua minaga kyo higi guaikap. Kagi pimkagi pit chikman.
All of the things that have to be moved, yeah. There's another little something right there. There's another sound I'm hearing. I just want to listen to that one more time.
O mikua minaga kyo higi guaikap. Kagi pimkagi pit chikman.
I mean, we always make little stumbles when we talk, but I always wonder if it's like, is there part of that word I'm missing? And do it one more time.
O mikua minaga kyo higi guaikap. Kagi pimkagi pit chikman.
Like gagapitsik. I don't understand that, but I'll leave it there for now, because we get what he's saying.
Egi msigiti to hagi kotstate koso namsati.
Higi misigitiet. See, and there misigitiet. So see, there's that form I thought the other one was. Misigitiet. I thought I was just hearing a variation. Gapitsiet. But he's specifically saying gapitsui. Like,
Kika apache hait ka pichuito magikap.
gapitsuihtoma. That's what he's saying. So yeah, it's interesting. Did I create this by mistake?
Ego hekta kiot na masona peste mohikas kitesit.
Oh, I skipped over one.
Ego hekta kiot na masona peste mohikas kitesit. Ego hekta kiot na masona peste mohikas kitesit.
O tinamaso.
Ego hekta kiot na masona peste mohikas kitesit.
Na pestimwa.
Ego hekta kiot na masona peste mohikas kitesit.
Black horse. Gaskitesiet. Gaskitesiet.
Egi msigiti to hagi kotstate koso namsati.
Hey Marie, Danase. Their teepee and everything they took along as they moved. Miasin.
Egi msigiti to hagi kotstate koso namsati.
Wah, I think that's how you spell that. Wah. I don't know. I wonder how they decide how to spell these things sometimes. Oh, wah. Guess that worked.
Egi msigiti to hagi kotstate koso namsati.
Ki go static go Sue, is that what he said? Like, sounds like they're afraid of it. people were afraid of it. I don't know this word. Just go stum is all I know. Was fearful. Was known to cause fear. I love it. He was known to cause fear. He was feared. Yeah, pretty soon, yeah. Gosta Digusu. That's such a cool word.
Ekim Sigitito, Hagi Costatiko, so I namsati.
Namistim. See, are you hearing misatim or mistatim? It seems like he goes back and forth.
Ekim Sigitito, Hagi Costatiko, so I namsati.
Misatim is what I'm hearing. Namisatim. Okay. It's, oh yeah, see, we've been doing this for quite a while. So I'm going to do, we're going to go to 43 minutes right there. So 2 more blocks and then we'll be done for tonight. We'll take a break. Let me make that a little shorter. Just take the first little chunk. Eguamina. Oh, my kid's just harassing me here, so but we've been at this for a couple hours, so we're doing good. It sounds like Eogomina. Eogomina. Egi something. Genuansquate? I don't know that word. Genuansquate. Oh, long. Isquate. Genuans. Long. Isquate. Would that be like hair? No. Genwan squill, long hair. Okay. Good guess. Holy. Long hair and a long body. And long tail. Mias and Genwan squate. That'll help me find all the words anyway. Just go. And he was strong. Beautiful and strong. But that one word I need to find. Gin wayuit. That's my guess here. Mayu. Wayu, like Mio is your body, right? So how would you there it is. Long body. Genoyuit. Yeah. What's interesting about that is for anyone curious about the writing, Ginwanasquate and Genoyoit, that W right there and that O are technically the same letter. They just write it that way, so it's less confusing. Depending on the sounds that are together, the W and the O technically make the same sound in the way that you pronounce them, right? Ginwan. This is just a rounding of the lips, and so that's why the long here has a W, and the long here has an O. It's because they're technically the same thing as far as the sound goes. Genoyuit. That's interesting. miasit. Egi soksit. Sokisit. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Hiya. Tism Dad says, anyone suggest an app for speaking Korean, practicing it? I mean, there's some apps out there. You can find some on like the App Store and stuff for maybe even for a community, your community or a community near you. There's a few different apps out there. But actually, I would recommend, if you want to get started, you can go to my site. This is it here, kiano.net. And if you go there, there are a bunch of different resources. If you go to the Learner Library here, click on Learner Library, and then I recommend Language of the Plains by Gino Kimasis, because they're all free online. You can get the workbook, and then you can get the regular book, and then you can also get the audio sessions all free online. And the audio sessions go along with the workbook. So as you're going through the workbook, you can follow the audio lessons. They're on SoundCloud, and there's, I guess I don't have an account here, but all of the language lessons they follow that workbook, so you can, and Gene is a fluent speaker, so that's what I would recommend. So the Ginwan squeet, Ron says that's the long mane and tail, yeah? And then Ginoya weight is a long body, a miasit. I understood that to be beautiful or handsome, I guess. Miyasu. And handsome or beautiful, lovely. Claudine, I have to go to sleep real early. Musta stop way. These are on YouTube as well. You can go to my YouTube and you can watch the rest of it later if you want to catch up. We're just about done tonight anyway. We're going to do a little bit more. This is one of those ones again. Mustas. Yeah, no problem. Awesome. This is one of those ones where when he was telling this part, I knew what he was saying, because I've actually heard a good chunk of the story before. He's talked about that horse in English, so I knew what he was saying. But figuring out those words helps a lot, because then I can try and remember these words. Then I can try. Well, miasit I knew, soksit I knew, but ginwansquit, like I didn't know that. Could you say that about a person? If you said, oh, awasqueo mitene ginwansquit, would I be saying she has a long mane, or would that imply that they have long hair? That person has long hair. Yeah, good night, Edward. So could I use it in that context as well, to talk about a person? Or would I be saying specifically that they have a long tail or a long mane or something? Long hair, yeah, that makes sense. So these are good words, right? These are good words to learn. All right, we're going to go right to 43 and change. So we got 2 more blocks.
Maganda mo nga o yagi o tsakeski tata po chikai to te tanim sa te mo hay sana.
Namoy awi yak.
Maganda mo nga o yagi o tsakeski tata po chikai to te tanim sa te mo hay sana.
O tsakeski tat.
Maganda mo nga o yagi o tsakeski tata po chikai to te tanim sa te mo hay sana.
Ito date, I think he said. Anihi mistatemwa. But I'm missing something.
Maganda mo nga o yagi o tsakeski tata po chikai to te tanim sa te mo hay sana.
Kika ito date anihi.
Maganda mo nga o yag o tsaka skita ta po chikay to te tanim sa te mo hayok saan.
Yeah, but nobody was able to go near the horse. Yep. That horse. I'm just looking at the phrasing. So I'm like, what does ahpoti from in my brain means or, but in this context it's obviously informing the or else or is it? It's one of those things where it's like if you just took ahpoti, it's hard to just like have a definition for it because in different contexts it like tweaks things a little bit. One more time.
Maganda mo nga o yag o tsaka skita ta po chikay to te tanim sa te mo hayok saan.
Yeah, interesting. I'll have to just think about that for a bit. All right, this is our last one for tonight.
Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha ta isi no ha ne ka te was tim na pis timan. Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha ta isi no ha ne ka te was tim na pis timan.
Magwahat? I don't know that word. Magwahil? Did I hear that right?
Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha ta isi no ha ne ka te was tim na pis timan.
Nobody, yeah, approach. But what's the word?
Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha ta.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too. Magwahat. Magohat. There it is. Thank you. Bother, trouble. Interesting. I think it's the right word though. Nobody was able to approach the horse. Magohat. Would have to be that, I guess. Oh, refresh.
Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha ta isi no ha ne ka te. Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha. Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha ta isi no ha ne ka te was tim na pe.
There's another piece in there. Ikate. Tisqua.
Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko.
It's not ate, it's igate. Igate magohat. Yeah.
Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha
And
ta.
there's a reduplication. Aigate. There's so much in there. Just one word, right? It just gets longer and longer.
Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha ta isi no ha ne ka te was tim na pis timan.
I see new.
Tan mana he gi ai ka te ma ko ha ta isi no ha ne ka te was tim na pis timan.
I I see no ane he.
Ton mana he gi ai ka te māko hata I sino hane kas te was tem na pestiman.
Kasketeostem, kasketeostem, napistem. Hope I have that right. Just want to check one thing. Mago Hill. Just gonna double check one thing here. No, it would have to be that, because it would be, if it was that, it would be heat. Mago heat. Okay, Mago heart. Yeah, okay. I'll have to think about that. My brain is full. My brain is so full.
E o kua nā napoko.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that. We're gonna leave it there tonight. Oh man, we did like over 3 minutes tonight. That's amazing. That's amazing. Aggressively. Mia sinanma. Holy. Well, we have 20 minutes and 45 seconds left in this recording. Like 43 minutes. To be 43 minutes into a recording is really impressive, really. Chases away in fear. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, so the horse is threatening. And then what was igate again? Basically chases them away. Yeah, okay, that makes sense now. I had to think about that for a minute. Ron's...
Ton mana he gi ai ka te māko hata I si.
So the horse would literally just like chase anyone away that tried to get near him. That's cool. It is a cool story, right? It is a cool story. So yeah, this has been super fun. Ron's tuning in from Onion Lake. Miasin. Oh, kananaskum tin Ron. Kapi Kilgoian. Kapi Tagusinian. Kapi witi ya. Kawitian. Miasinan makista. Kista wow Marie. Is it Noel? We've had a few fluent speakers here tonight. Darcy. I really appreciate. Katago sini ek mana ya. Nemiwate. Kimiwate no. Can I say that? We have a good time. It's super fun, and I always get to the point where I don't want to stop. We're 2.5 hours into the live stream, and it's like, I know we have to stop, but I want to keep going because we're just having fun. Super fun, and this is the way I've been pitching to folks, I think the stories are important. These particular stories are from Sweetgrass, but the stories from all communities are important, really. Look at that. We've been on here for 2 hours and almost 45 minutes. Amazing. Through this process, I think, as people get time, by the way, if you're on the stream and you're just like a learner, you're just kind of lurking or whatever, drop a comment. Leave these comments. I'm starting to formulate a pitch really about the benefit of this process that we're doing right now, and bundle this up into something that we can reproduce elsewhere, right? Can we take parts of this and get it into place in different areas that will begin to help others get to an intermediate level? Or if there are intermediate learners, like I'm working with, we started working with one learner down south who was like an intermediate learner but hadn't really encountered transcribing yet, and then just got right into it and was like, wow, this is awesome, right? So top way, thank you for the comments. Gayasa spin, top way. So the thing that's cool about this is this reminds me a little bit of conversational group, where there may be some people who know a little bit more, there may be some people that are still a little bit newer to the process, or something like that, but everybody can get something out of it, right? Everybody can, if through the process of participating or the process of coming back and watching or something, helping to like find those words or reinforce some of the stuff that you already know or puzzle through some of those things. And the fact that we do it together interactively, I call it multiplayer. Thanks for the comment, Diana. Diana says, lurking here. It's very interesting. Definitely look for the app. If you're a beginner learner, like if you're just brand new, transcription can be really hard. Because like you're trying to learn spelling, you're trying to learn vocab, you're trying to learn all of these things. The grammar, it's challenging, right? So, but collectively, I've benefited a huge amount by hanging out with other learners, not just in classes, but going to conversational groups when I was here in Edmonton. That conversational group is still going. They meet up on 137th at the Wendy's. I think there's a mall up there on 97th, I think, every Thursday. So last night they met again. And that's been going since 2008. But the thing about that is if you're a learner and you hang out with other learners who are more advanced than you, they will fast track you through your learning process because they're like, yep, I ran into that problem. Yep, I did that. Yep, I tried this. This is what worked for me. This didn't work for me. And those learners come together and keep just like, supporting each other. That's a really meaningful way to move your language ahead. Ron says, I have a very interesting find in our region pre-treaty. I'm assuming and looking for stories to complement this find. Yeah, sin. Yeah, and I'm working with so if you have a community where you are I'll just do my pitch right here before we drop off. I always tell people, or I have been telling people recently, that we can write books, 20 years from now. We can argue about spelling 20 years from now. We can do all of these things 20 years from now. But the only thing that we can't do 20 years from now is come back and record our elders. So if you have the capacity, start recording your elders now, or capture those stories to the degree that you're able, to the degree that they're willing, right? Start capturing that history, because we can't, there's a lot of problems that we're not going to be able to fix overnight if people don't have time to work on the language. Or I hear sometimes like, oh, the young people aren't interested. It's like, I think the young people are interested. They're just in survival mode. That's what I keep hearing over and over and over again. So it's really about focusing our efforts on, let's make sure that there's something there when they have time to work on these things and create more accessibility and on-demand resources, right? At least capture the stories, because we've only got so much time with the elders that we have, and the history is important. Having that history, understanding where you're from, the history of your area, significant sacred sites or significant familial connections, or whatever it is about, the distinct and interesting area where you're from has so much rich history, and we're not getting the time that we deserve to spend with our elders to get that knowledge transfer that we're all craving. Our elders want to tell these stories. The young people want to hear these stories. We just don't have those same family setups that would have been in place traditionally. And so through this medium, video or audio or something, we can capture some of that and put it into a format where young people I say young people, I'm talking about myself even, can access them when they have time, start to work on them, start learning some of these words, start asking those questions. What does that word mean? Igate, right? Like, what does that mean? Or what's that other one we ran into here a minute ago? Tisqua, not that one. There was another one we really, oh yeah, it was that, mio no te kese. Like, what does that mean, right? If you can then get those opportunities to go visit and rebuild some of those connections. Yeah, Brandon, we're working on that. Brandon, yes. The short version of that is that because WMV files are Windows Media and it's a proprietary codec, they are technically working on our end. I think, but they may not work on the site because it's a proprietary codec. If you have the opportunity to change them to MOV or MP4, that would be best. We're going to build it into our system. When you upload something, we're going to automatically change them, but we don't have that yet. So what I would recommend is if you have a tool or something that can convert it for you, that's going to be the fastest way to get that going. So yeah, sorry about the fuss there. Yeah, Diana, thanks for the feedback. So yeah, my whole pitch is we can argue about all of these things in the future, but the thing that we can't do is come back and get these stories after our elders have gone on, I'll say, right? And the young people are interested. The young people are interested. They want their language. I hear this from everybody. How do I start learning my language? Young people, parents, grandparents even ask me, how do I start learning my language? It's like people are interested. So in the same way that you can turn on Netflix and pick the movie that you want, right? Can we set up a scenario where people have access to, hey, I want to listen to that story about my grandma, or I want to hear that story about whatever, right? And these ones are cool. I mean, these are Sweetgrass stories, and there's a lot of words and a lot of teachings and all that stuff in there. But why not the stories from where you're from, right? What do we need to do to get that in place? What do we need to do to do it? Like, let's train people to. Do we need help to do recording? Do we need, like, what do we need to do? Let's figure it out. I can, if your community would be interested in this, I can come in and help you out, or whatever. We could talk about it. We need to change minds. What do we need to do? This has been the conversation I've been having, like, basically this month. Changing minds about, like, more. We should make more books. We should have more classes. We should do all of these different things. But all of these things that we've been doing for 10, 20, 30, 40 years are not producing fluent speakers. It's giving people some language, right? But how do we get to a place of fluency? Some degree of fluency. That's the question people want for me, because like, I'm not fluent by any stretch, but how do you get there? And it comes through listening a lot. And then if you take that one step further and you go and you figure out every single word, like we've been doing here tonight, figure out every single word. What does that mean? What does that mean? And that takes me back to the picture that I brought up, right? This one. This picture, it's like the Lego picture. We're plugging in the pieces. We're figuring out the pieces. And as we plug those pieces in, over time we step back and we realize, wow, I can just about see the whole picture here. I just about understand. And then we just keep plugging in more pieces. And over time we begin to get more and more of the picture as somebody tells a story. As somebody tells us, Tsimuan, Gaya sa Tsimuan, right? Wawita Tsimuan. Atayo Kewin, Gita Tsimuan, Mama Tawa Tsimuan. There's so many different, right? Gagis Gimuan, Gagi Simuan. There's all of these things. We plug more and more different pieces in all, and then eventually at some point we get to the place where, wow, I know what the picture is now. I know what you're saying. I understand, right? And when we have classes and books and courses and things, those are pieces too. But we've got to get past that. We've got to be able to get into a place where we can self-study, especially for adults. Right? If you're an educator and you have kids in class or something like that, I always tell people, don't teach kids the language. Just speak the language. They will get it for free. Kids get it for free when you speak the language. But as adults, we have to take a different approach. Courtney says, how often do you do these? Usually on Sundays, but I've been traveling, so I'm doing an extra one tonight. I don't even remember me, but we were both so new to Cree like a decade ago. Yeah, pretty much, eh? Marie says, our language encodes our humanity, our ancestral way of being Neho Tapwe. Absolutely. And when you learn the language, it starts to rewire your brain. You've come a long way and have inspired me to start again. Miasin, akamemo, tapwe. Marie says, our understanding of the natural and spiritual laws of the universe govern over all life and language. Marie, I want to come visit you. I'm headed home tomorrow because I've been away from home for like a month, but I really want to come and visit. Yeah, so that's my pitch. If it takes, let's pick a number. The number I've been using is 2,000. If it takes 2,000 hours of immersion to become reasonably fluent in an indigenous language, where do those 2,000 hours come from? How do we guarantee we have access to 2,000 hours worth of materials? Because listening to recordings is pretty much baked into this process for most people. I know people who have many fluent speakers in their life, in their lives, even live with fluent speakers and still don't have that kind of time because everybody works, everybody's busy, right?
You've been on live for almost 3 hours.
So listening to recordings is basically baked into our process for most of us. And so how do we guarantee that we have materials to work on? Enough materials, different types of materials, good quality materials, right? Anyway, except mania, exingay tuan anuts aya, nisto sinin no tegetan mina, gagisi tan metani wipats ay kakiukiwaw ay inanaskum tagok, itam skat tagok, nimiwi ten ay pewi ay pay ay e pe giogoik e pe witapimik e witsi e kanut e nehiwastaya koma a tsimuan ka patoskatama ka tatsita ka wakisenu e guaya Mr. Hidden nas komunanuts ay tanta tuama na e papi tamanoma e guaya apsis ngay tuan e pe aten stota manuma ay guay uma tsemuan Mr. Nimi tenuma nitagaki ten Osama ay mama ay so how do you say that? It's a powerful story. Sogimaga kuma. Sogimaga. Isa sogimaga. I wonder if you could say that. Hamaga gagisita no egwa. Ay kigats ay nanto ay neo tipaiganis pamoyes kigam ta tapaiganota misquati wiskaiganits skaiganik anutska tipskag aya asaimina aya kananaskum tinawaw ka kyo tamskat nawaw hegwaya awaswapa ke asaimina nawi ositano matsigaste payitsigani live stream gaiton on Sunday gagitam ewi mamu apia hota TikTok egwamina YouTube Facebook mikwagan how do you say that mikwagan masanay kano masanay gani we'll be live streaming on all those platforms again on Sunday egwa eugo ma tsemuan ewi ayat atoskata ma gitam. We'll be working on this story again. So XP kawapam tinaw miupay. We'll see you all on Sunday. I'll be back on Pacific time again, so I'll try to get a little bit earlier start, maybe about 6 o'clock Pacific. And Miasin Brandon got it to work. That's awesome. Miasin Nanma. So asaymi nakakyo kitam skat now we're going to finish it up there tonight, and I really appreciate you all. Kamamitsi hinawaw. Yeah. And we'll see you all on Sunday. Okay, everybody, have a good night. Muestas.